It is good to have you with us this Sunday morning for our weekly check-in of local and state government issues and the politics behind them with some spirited but respectful debate. Joining the show this morning, we have Republican State Senator Greg Elkins of Winchester. He's in his first term representing the 28th District covering Bath, Clark, part of Fayette, Menifee, and Montgomery counties. On the Democratic side today, we have Senator Reggie Thomas of Lexington. He has been in the Senate since 2014, serving the 13th District of Fayette County. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being back with us and looking forward to the discussion we get to have this morning.
Good to see you, Bodie.
Good to see you as well. Yeah.
On a roadmap for this week, Fayette County Public Schools budget issues escalating and taking center stage in Frankfort. Two new hopefuls throw their hat in the ring to replace Mitch McConnell. And what happens next after a glitch within the Cabinet for Health and Family Services exposes the identities of thousands of Kentuckians? So let's begin with Fayette County Schools budget crisis, now on the radar of Frankfort lawmakers. This week, Superintendent Dr. Demetrius Elkins appeared before the Education Committee, where he was met with many questions and concerns from lawmakers. Senator Lindsey Tishner pressed the superintendent on the district's credit card receipts, calling its travel expenses jaw-dropping. Liggins says that he wished he'd asked better questions and did more to avoid the situation the district is in, saying changes have already been made to the district's travel policy and acknowledging there were some people on those trips who didn't need to go. Representative Adriel Camuel, who is also a district employee, questioned how the district can regain trust.
I'm more than anyone wanting to get to the bottom of what occurred and ensuring that we put systems in place to ensure that it doesn't happen again. One of the things that we've already done is have both budget and financial services reporting directly to me.
I've received a lot of feedback from my constituents and others in our community who have lost faith in the leaders in central office. Not about the teachers, it's not about the staff, and it's not about student outcomes. It is the executive leadership in the district. And I don't know how we move forward without rebuilding the trust first.
And in the days since, the Fayette County School Board has voted to conduct an external audit in addition to its own internal review. An investigator has also been hired to look into claims made against Liggins by the budget director he suspended, who says they tried to warn that the numbers were off. So Senator Thomas, I want to start with you here. You serve on that committee, you were there in that meeting, and you had some questions for Dr. Liggins yourself. You also had some praise to share as well. Overall, how does the district regain trust in your view?
Well, Bodie, I don't really know that the trust has been lost. Let me say this. I represent a pretty large district. I mean, Fayette County, my district is composed entirely within Fayette County. I've heard from one or two constituents, but not many. I do want to point this out, though, because I think this is significant. A lot of the leadership there in the Senate and House on the education side talk about rate of return, okay? And I pointed out the rate of return for Fayette County Public Schools is significant. And I want to point out these things. I brought some notes today, so I didn't miss a point. Number one, no schools in Fayette County in the last report were identified as requiring comprehensive school improvement. That's a first. No schools need comprehensive school improvement. Number two, for the first time, no schools have been marked by the Kentucky's accountability system for low achievement among Black, Hispanic, or economically disadvantaged students. Don't need any kind of additional achievement, okay? Graduation rates have increased, and the number of students enrolling in at least one college course while in high school has tripled, meaning that those students are now college ready. And then the last two deserve special notation. Number one, Fayette County Public Schools, Bodie, accounts for only 6.5% of all students going to public schools, just a little less than 7%. But one-third of all students considered among the highest performing students in the state among the ACT come from Fayette County Public Schools. One-third come from Fayette County Public Schools. And let's be clear, the Fayette County Public Schools has been audited every year by independent auditors, every year since Dr. Liggins has been there. Each and every audit has been clean, okay? No discrepancies, no concerns, has been clean. So again, I think this idea of trust has been overstated. Certainly some people have had questions, but when you look at the total picture, the Fayette County Public Schools rate of return for this state has been tremendous.
And I want to follow with you more on some of the statistics you share, because I believe the question you asked Dr. Liggins was, how do you continue this momentum given this bump in the road? But let's pause for a second and bring in Senator Elkins. What are your thoughts on this situation?
So first, I would say Dr. Liggins himself said that the criticism was warranted. So he understands that some of the concerns that people have is a real issue, and I commend Representative Camuel on her question of trust. I've actually talked with superintendents outside of Fayette County who are concerned that this trust issue with the public education system will spill over into their counties, and I've assured them I don't think that's the case. I think Senate leadership understands that this is a Fayette County issue and Fayette County alone. So I don't see that that's a problem, but I do think that there is a trust issue. I do think that the transparency or the lack of transparency with the occupational license tax and implementation or attempt to implement created a lack of trust that's going to have to be dealt with. And I would remind Dr. Liggins of one thing he said towards the end. He said, the buck stops here. And truly it does. He is the superintendent.
Any response you have to that?
Well, both Senator Elkins and I know that the Fayette County Public Schools is undergoing an independent audit now by the state auditor's office. Dr. Liggins welcomes that. I encourage that. And let's wait and see what the state auditor provides. You know, I'm fairly confident that whatever the findings are, you will find no malfeasance, no fraud, nothing of any kind of criminal nature, and whatever issues that do come before the Fayette County Public Schools can be and will be addressed in a very easy and very thorough manner.
A little less than a minute left here. Is it too early then, just since we're still waiting on that audit or a few of the different reviews that are out there for y'all to determine right now, was perhaps too much spent on travel? Could there be too much, top-heavy budgeting with the amount of admin? Is it too early to know that right now?
If I may, I do think that, and Dr. Liggins said it himself, we're in the business of educating children, and with any business, one of the primary focuses or functions is to control expenses. One of the things Senator Tinster brought up was a trip to Australia at the cost of $7,000 and hundreds of thousands of dollars every month in travel expenses. It's just too much. I mean, I can't think of any reason why a trip to Australia is warranted, and then to have to rebook it and pay additional expenses, as Dr. Liggins said. And I think he didn't go alone. I think he took a couple of other people with him. So it's I just can't think of a reason why Fayette County Public Schools needs to be in Australia.
But let's be clear, and I know we got time's running out, but Dr. Liggins noted that was a chamber trip. That was a trip in conjunction with several business leaders from Commerce Lexington. And he also pointed out that he wasn't going to go because of a school shooting and had to rearrange his flight at the last minute to get there because he had to be there along with other chamber members.
Yeah, for anybody who didn't have the chance to check out that full hearing, I'd highly recommend spending about an hour of your day. There's a lot of stuff that was discussed.